Good morning, my Midjourney friends. Last week, Midjourney released Style Reference, and it's pretty cool. It actually deals with style, unlike the huge screw up with what is it, style tuning or whatever. What disaster that was. Anyway, it's pretty cool. It extracts style from images that you upload or referencing, and it's pretty awesome. I love it a lot. It gets you looks pretty darn quick, and it also keeps consistency. It's a great way for managing consistency within your workflow. So anyway, let's get into it. Anyway, all right. Before we get into how I'm using style reference, let's look at how it works. And it's pretty simple and straightforward. So here we are. We're in Discord. We're at the Midjourney bot. And first, what we're going to do is we need to upload an image. I have an image. I did a whole sketchbook on studying line decker, Illustrator, and here is a sketch I did, as a basically studying his style and but interpreting in my thing. So here's my sketch from my sketchbook. I uploaded it, and now it's an image on the Discord server. What we're going to do here is, so we're going to imagine, I type in full. You guys won't have this a preset, but I'll show you what it means in a second. Then we do, basically it gives all the subjects. It's going to give us a list of subjects, and then it's going to, in parentheses, so that we can get a bunch of pictures all at once. I can't remember what Midjourney calls it. And so then what we do, the important thing is we type in --sref. We grab our little image and drag it down here, and that's going to put the link in there. And then I'm going to do an aspect ratio of 16:9 and hit enter. So it's going to say, do you want to run these 9 things? I'm going to say yes. And bada bing, bada boom. Here we go. Okay, and here are results from my sketch. Here is the cheeseburger. And look at that. It grabbed the cross-hatching and everything and put it into a sketchbook, which is pretty interesting. It caught on that it was sketches. God, I don't know where I'm looking. So there's a cheeseburger. Oops. Almost forgot. I got to click in there. Here's the forest. Very cool. It's got that real loose feel, but cross-hatching, which I had in my sketch. Same thing with the house. Looks pretty good. Looks like it really captured the looseness that I had going in my sketch. Here's a guy. Again, cross-hatching parallel lines within the hair and in the skin. Very much reminiscent of what I was doing, or a loose motorcycle. This is cool. Imagine, I have tons of sketchbooks, and I can go through, scan them, and create different styles of my own sketching, and then run it through Midjourney, and, very cool. It's weird. It's existential. Here's a octopus, of course. Very cool. I love in here, like how the shadowing underneath the ligament. Oh, look, my thumb. It's not better. I just keep breaking the casts that they give me. I'm a disaster. And God, that octopus looks pretty mellow. A skull, very cool, very much what I would expect. A tree, I love drawing trees. I used to have a sketchbook anytime I would travel, and this would kind of like calm me down from my traveling, because traveling with kids, it can be a lot of stress. So what I would do is I would bring a sketchbook, and wherever I would go, when I got there and everyone was kind of settled in, I would take my sketchbook and I would find a tree and draw a tree. and then I would note where it was, and it was pretty cool. And it was like a form an artistic meditation. But then I would put at the bottom like, oh, this is Reading, Vermont, or West Glover or whatever. And now I can look through, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember that tree. Anyway, yeah, I totally sidetracked there. Here's a tree in the style of my sketch. Woman, very much, definitely getting the sketchbook vibe here. And all right, that's how you use the style referencing in Midjourney. Now let's look at it. A cool thing I've been doing. All right, so here we are. So this is what I've been using style ref for. Have you guys had, and I've had this, where you have old prompts that just don't work the same way? Like you don't get a really good result from them in the current version of Midjourney. But the old version is just, it's got a really cool vibe to the image, but it's not as clean and crisp. Well, not clean and crisp, but not as detailed, I guess, as the current version. So you kind of want to, and you try to rerun the prompt, but it doesn't take. So what I've been doing, I'm going back to my old favorite prompts from like version 3 and version 4, using those as references and pumping them back in to Midjourney, and getting amazing results. I'm so psyched with this. So check this out. All right, this was a version 3 render I did of thing, and here we go. I pumped it in, I used it, and this is the results I'm getting. This is style referencing that image, and it is so cool. This is exactly what I wanted, and I haven't been able to duplicate this. I rerun it every time because it's one of my favorite images from early Midjourney. But yeah, and the consistency, like I'm getting it over and over. That original one I actually use as a Halloween decoration. I printed it out, framed it, put it up, and people think it's so cool. And it's just wild. But anyway, this is a great way to get the vibes of your early Midjourney, but getting it into the modern engine model, whatever they're calling it. Like that is so cool. I love that. But all of this just wild. And it couldn't, it's got sheet music, but the imagery here is just so cool. I absolutely love it. And it's all using, that original one as a style reference. All right. And this next one was another image that, I got the idea right in Midjourney, but Midjourney's rendering skills just weren't up to the task. And one of the things I have to say, I'm pumping the same exact prompt in, but putting the style reference at the end, and that's how I'm getting it. So I'm using my original prompt with the style reference of the image to get what I want. So this is the original image, and it was New York City coming out of a pizza. These are the new ones. Look at how cool that is. Look at how crisp it is. You can tell the skyline now, and you can tell it's more pizza-y. It's not just this kind of molten cheese and meat. But look at this. So cool. This New York City. I mean, there's a city that's associated with food right there. Best pizza in the world. Come on. Well, New Jersey may beat them, but we'll talk about that later. But look at this. I love... It's like on fire. It's on fire because we got crazy pizza. We're on fire with our pizza. This one kind of looks like some toys growing out of it, but still cool. This one, awesome. I mean, could you imagine that on, like, you give it a vertical and throw a nice, it would be like a magazine cover, like New Yorker or something. It would be perfect. But again, I'm pulling these old images out of Midjourney that I thought were great at the time, but we're so much further, and I'm using those as the style reference and getting some killer stuff. I just love this. All right, this next one, I was doing a series on climate change and, how it's affected. We see the effects of it down here on Cape Cod a lot because we're right on the ocean, so we see a lot of it, and I thought, hey, I'm going to make some images that kind of touch on that, and put a little reality into, or reality? I don't know. Putting a visual into the climate crisis story. So here is the original image. Let's take a look. I loved it. The vibe was great, but back then Midjourney had issues. So this is the new one. You get the underwater, the caustics down there. I love this. You can see, but you can tell it's a flooded Cape Cod town. And this is what we see during, winter storms and stuff. Look, you got the fish and this restaurant in the back. Looks like they're still open. This looks like an after the storm type of image, but so much cooler. As I was saying, like Midjourney in that early version wasn't able to do really crisp architecture. It didn't understand how to follow the perspective and, have a single plane. You could have a single plane of a wall in perspective, but like the lashings or anything in between it didn't always adhere to the perspective. And then you would get roofs and weird places. Anyway, they fixed that. So that's why I want to do it in a more modern Midjourney. And my God, it killed it. Killed it. I love it. Again, it's the original prompt. I didn't tweak it, which if I wanted to explore this more, that's what I would do. I would go and I would mess with that prompt. All right. Let's take this one step further. And where can we go with this? All right. So I went back to my pumpkin scarecrow guy here. In a sketchbook, and it was schematics and all kinds of things in that prompt. And I'm using him as a source, but I'm gonna change the prompt to our typical set and see what kind of vibe we get out of Pumpkin Dude with my normal set. So here we go. I got it. Oh, jeez, never clicking here. Where are you? Hello. Come on, cursor. There we go. All right. So here's our pumpkin dude. There's a cheeseburger. I don't think I want to eat that cheeseburger. But there's a cheeseburger referenced off of our pumpkin guy. That thing looks moldy and oldie. And here is a forest. Look at this. Look at the detail. It gives all this vining and everything around this tree trunks. Midjourney. Look at you over there. House, that's, it's got the vines, it's got the overgrowth, it's got the rot, it's, there's moss, and it's got that kind of sketchbook feel to it. I love it. And it's funny, it's kind of got those floating branches that we used to get in version 3, branches out of nowhere. And here is a guy. Oh, that is just so cool. Just like these fiery wings, but also roots. And reminds me of Meets Myers. He was a friend of mine in the VFX world, and he very proficient artist too. And he used to do the loading screens and cover art for like Maya and stuff. And he'd do these super intricate modeling the people made out of pipes or turning into piping and all kinds of like chromey and it was awesome. Look him up. Motorcycle. Yep. That is pretty cool. Very Road Warrior-esque. But kind of getting taken back by the earth. And an octopus. Look at that. Look at his eyes. It's like a mechanical octopus, and you got these things coming out of his tentacles and out of the suction cups, and, he's robotic, but, and the skull. Very cool. I love how he's got like this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's almost like eyebrow piercings. Very cool. But there really is eyelashes that are going up. Oh, that is wild. I like that though. That is very cool. A tree detail in this thing is nuts. And I just love it. And a woman, come on, that's like mother nature right there. Wouldn't it be awesome to have a sketchbook that looked like that? And that's talent. No, that's very cool. What a look. But anyway, that's taking it one step further. Guys, give this style reference a chance and jump in there with your old renders, with your own artwork. This is really making AI work our own. And, and then You can compound it because you can use multiple images. I could take this pumpkin with my sketch, combine them, and I'll have something new. And you can do multiple ones that way. I've been doing a lot of that. It's awesome. All right, that's style reference. All right, everyone, thank you for joining me this week. If you do me a favor and like this video, that helps engagement. Comment below. Let's talk about style reference. Get over to the Discord. Crazy stuff happening over there. People are asking great questions. And, you know, we're going through it. Like, we got to kind of stick together and talk about this stuff as artists because, you know, it can be exciting and thrilling to experience this AI stuff. But then you can kind of hit this, like, just weird, like, esoteric fear of just falling apart because you think you're being replaced. And, you know, the best thing to do is talk to other people. So get over there, get in the conversation. It's great. Subscribe to the video. I need that. It helps me. It helps me grow this. I love that, you know, we've been growing leaps and bounds. Hey, check out my merch too. I got some down below. You can slap on the back. It's a pretty cool sweatshirt, and t-shirts and mugs and all that. Very cool stuff, and it helps the channel grow. All right. That's exciting. There's going to be more videos on this style reference because we can go so deep with it. All right, though. Until next time.